Never fear, Cindersh is here. And today I have for you my Doctor Who discussion for Series 9, Episode 7, the Zygon Invasion. Now, basically what I want to talk about is who's who in terms of Zygon versus human. This episode did a really good job of making it hard to tell who was a Zygon, who was a human in some of these cases, in terms of some key people in the show. Initially, I had some extra clips here than what we're going to see, dealing with some of the clues that certain people were Zygons instead of humans. In particular, the sheriff and Clara, where you could tell they were kind of questioning the humans to get some information and help plan their Zygon defenses. And so I had some of those. I got rid of those so that we can. And I decided I was going to just deal with and leading a discussion here about is Osgood a Zygon or a human. I did put in here to kind of, because the first time I watched the episode, I didn't piece together when Clara became a Zygon. I somehow didn't put 1 and 2 together from beginning of the episode to end. So I've got that to help understand the transition there from when Clara went from human to Zygon, which does happen very early in the episode. But at first I was confused and I was thinking maybe it had happened even before the episode started. But it is the beginning of the episode after the Zygons had captured the second Osgood, and she'd already sent out her message of warning. It's after that Clara gets replaced. And then the third one being at the tail end of the episode is Kate Stewart going into the second episode of the two-parter, going to be the human Kate or a Zygon Kate. So first let's look at a couple of these clips for leading into a debate about whether or not Osgood is the human or the Zygon Osgood, or maybe even a third option. So here is the video section for the discussion to do with whether or not Osgood is the Zygon, the human, or maybe even something a little bit different. Notice she's using the inhaler. That may or may not be important. Okay, so there's a few points to take into consideration here. The first one is the inhaler. The human Osgood needs the inhaler. Now, I'm trying to recall from last season whether or not the Zygon Osgood actually used the inhaler. She took it so that she had it, but whether or not she actually used it, I'm not sure. But this Osgood uses the inhaler. So I think it's something that only we as the audience have seen. No one else saw it. She was hiding under the desk, having run and being out of breath. She uses it. It could be the Zygon Osgood has come to rely on it the same way human Osgood would. I can't say for sure on that, but I think it's meant to be a clue. And I think what Osgood says here at the end is meant more to throw the Doctor off so that even he is not sure which is which, because he's pretty confident. And based on the inhaler, based on his logic, I would go with him and say she is human Osgood. Of course, what she says is to make it so the Doctor doesn't know which one is which, that she could still be. Now, you could take what she says to contradict the Doctor and tell the Doctor, no, I'm actually not the human one. She's not going to straight up say, I am the Zygon version or I am the human version. She will not do that, no matter what. But what she says could be telling the Doctor, you're wrong. But I think she's simply saying, things have changed, and maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I could be the Zygon one because of things having changed. But I don't recall her originally having that ability. She had to keep her alive just to maintain the image. And it would have only been the newer Zygons who would have this new ability to just read the mind and pull out memories of a human and adapt to those and only need the person to gather information. It would only be the newer Zygons who have been born since the treaty has been made that would have this ability, not an older one. So I'm not sure she's telling the truth here about herself having that ability. But of course, this conversation is important for another aspect of the story, and that's going to be what happens to Clara come the next episode in the two-parter. Because we know Clara, and we're about to see this, that Clara is the Zygon, and the human Clara is in some type of containment unit, has been for the entire episode, pretty much. So however many days, weeks, whatever this episode covers, she's been trapped and a hostage of the Zygons. So now go ahead and feel free to comment your thoughts on whether or not Osgood is the human version or the Zygon version, whatever you think it is. I'm still tending to lead on the Doctor's side of things, that she is the human Osgood. But there is one other option here. And the Doctor says it, she says it. His questioning here discounts it, but he said it that way to make it so that it sounded like this to everyone else, and that she said it that sounds like this to everyone else. And part of this conversation itself talks about it, which I didn't use that part, but they talk about her being like a hybrid. She really is human and Zygon. And maybe for some reason, her having stayed in that human form, the Zygon having stayed in that form for so long, and them being so in touch with each other and connected to each other, she really could be, maybe, in some form or fashion, have become, the Zygon version could have actually become a true hybrid. I don't know about the human one becoming half Zygon, but the Zygon one really could be a Zygon stuck as a human. I don't know. I don't know how that would make sense, but you know, it is kind of left in the open as an option. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, and let's look at how Clara gets captured and turned into a Zygon. So this is the first time we see it at the very beginning of the episode. And here's the reveal at the end of the episode. Okay, so the doctor has tried calling Clara once or twice at the beginning of the episode. And then she finally comes home and sees the doctor has left 100 and something messages for her. She listens to the one, just before speaking to the boy, she listens to the one where he calls himself Dr. Feelgood, or he makes some funny musical reference. And then when she comes out there, as we saw it the first time, she gets on the phone and she makes a point of saying, "Did you just call yourself this?" So you got that connection, which makes it so you don't even think about the fact she could have been transformed into a Zygon. I mean, the way they portray it, there's no reason for you to think that at all. She went, got the parents. They were acting funny, and they brought the kid in kind of weird, but that was it. She walked off. The issue with the hair, you could have maybe you caught that and had to wonder about that, because her hair was tied up the way she ties it as the Zygon in her is walking out. She ties it up the way Clara had it when the Clara went in, and so you may have caught something was off with her having to tie her hair up again. I hadn't. I didn't even think about that, even though I knew this was a Zygon episode. I hadn't caught it till after I compared the first play with the second play up close. When the second time they show you she gets taken out and the other Clara walks out, Bonnie, as her Zygon name is, apparently. And so Clara was replaced right before she comes to help the doctor deal with the Zygon incident. Her knowing about Truth and Consequence as a city in New Mexico, she gives him an explanation. It may be a lie, but she sets him up to be split up and go to have somebody go there. And then she starts interrogating Kate. It may not seem like an interrogation, but she starts questioning, but she's really interrogating Kate about what possible defenses they're going to face, asking about how many troops she has to deal with the Zygons, if she has any secret weapons. And so she starts asking Kate about those things. If you're looking at it from the right perspective, you could have caught those and realized there was a switch, maybe. It's possible. Maybe some of you did. But going through the second time, I caught all these things and was able to pick up and say, you know what? She's asking questions because she's a Zygon needing to know these answers as she helps plan what they're doing next. And then we get to the end. Kate's there in Truth or Consequence, New Mexico, and there's a sheriff. And again, this sheriff does some kind of interrogating to find out whether or not Kate has backup. And when she finds out Kate doesn't have backup, we get this. So the question is, did the Zygon defeat, knock out, whatever, like they did Clara, or kill Kate Stewart? Did the Zygon kill Kate Stewart? Or, catching on to what's going on, did Kate Stewart pull out a weapon and do something to defend herself and defeat the Zygon? And then pretend to be the Zygon in response to Clara's questioning. We're left wondering whether or not Kate Stewart in the second episode is going to be helpful for the humans, or if she's going to be another undercover agent for the Zygons. And if you've got Kate Stewart and Clara with a supposedly dead doctor leading everybody in believing they're human and helping assist the Zygons in their defeat of the world, or at least London or Great Britain or whatever, you got some problems. But I think Kate Stewart is still human, and she got the upper hand on the Zygon, and she's going to pretend to be Zygon Kate Stewart to help combat against Clara and the Zygons, to undermine what they're going to do. And of course, for all Clara's efforts to kill the doctor, somehow he's going to get out of that. Not sure how. We'll find that out probably very quickly. Well, maybe we'll find out quickly. Maybe they'll kind of skip a bit and then have a show at some point later on in a flashback, which they're good at doing that too. So later on, the Zygon Clara starts asking the doctor how he escaped, and he tells it to us in a flashback. That's possible as well. Anyway, let me know what you think on both the Osgood front, whether or not she's human or Zygon, and maybe comment about how you think that's going to play out for the second episode. And then also on Kate Stewart, what do you think? Do you think she's now the Zygon, or is she still the human version of Kate? Let me know what you think on both of those. This is Super Saiyan 7 Cinders. I have been giving you a Doctor Who discussion video. I hope you liked it. I hope you will share, comment. Let me know what you think about this discussion. This one is one that I'm hoping to get a little bit of interaction on this one. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I hope you will do so. And we'll be back with another episode here in the near future.